This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Now listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about barbecue and grilling-related items of only the highest importance on the show. Each and every Tuesday, we are doing it live.
We'll do it live.
From 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. If you are not able to make the live show, we record and put out a podcast on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. So you get a full block of barbecue and grilling talk, and then if you can't make that, you get 3 days of additional barbecue and grilling talk. You can watch it live. You can also take it in on Wednesdays and Thursdays if you're a true super fan, and then get a new show every Friday with the best of. The show is being brought to you from the
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
Still to come on the show this evening, Sam the Cooking Guy, in about 12 minutes from now, and Cade Huskinson from Camp Chef, 35 past the hour. We say good evening to those of you watching the show tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to Facebook and Twitch/BBQ Central Show to watch. Also, you can take the show in via YouTube/RD Rempe, where there is a chat going on with the likes of Dino Dan and Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue and Guy the Cooking Sam, Cigar aficionado Jeff Andrizzi is in as well, smoking an All Saints St. Francis. It looked like a Toro, but maybe it was a Robusto, but that's a delicious stick. So, Jeff, hopefully you are enjoying that. We also say good evening to all the folks using our audio streaming platform, Clubhouse, as well. So if you'd rather hear us instead of watch us, Clubhouse is the way to do that. And as I had mentioned in the first hour, Clubhouse also has its own independent chat. So if you're into that kind of a thing, go ahead and work it out through the Clubhouse. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, we bring you episode 253, taking you back to December 17th, 2013, 9 years ago, almost 9 years ago. This bringing a close to the 5 weeks of the 2022 Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame class members. And closing it down is John Solberg's number one impassioned pick for this year's class, the former pitmaster of Warren County Pork Choppers, Donnie Bray of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, I use former in air quotes for those of you listening in podcast or through Clubhouse because Donnie has not competed in a long time. I don't know if he is still competing or looking to compete, so we will offer up former at this point and then find out for sure later on. However, this segment was recapping the Team of the Year race Donnie and Tim Grant from True Bud were locked up in at that point in time back in 2013. This is also the segment where you hear Donnie Bray utter the classic line, and I quote, "The sun don't shine up the sun don't shine up one dog's ass all the time," close quote. Donnie says on the record that he choked away the contest that could have brought him the Kansas City Barbecue Society's Team of the Year title that year, and then recounts the year and the pressure he was under at that time. His honesty in this interview, very refreshing, and you can easily see why John made such an impassioned plea to get Donnie into the Guest Hall of Fame this year. Donnie might have been out of the competition scene for a number of years. Now, as I stopped to think about it, he mentioned to me as I was letting him know he was in the Guest Hall of Fame this year, and that I was sending him his Guest Hall of Fame ring, which is a new thing at the start of last year's class and ongoing. Although I am hearing from previous men, I didn't get a ring. Yeah. It's called evolution. You're in the hall. Shut up already. As we move on, he did mention he might be getting back into it. How about this? Instead of guessing, why don't we ask him, as he is slated to return to the Barbecue Central show on December 6th as we close out the year. So we will ask Donnie Bray specifically within the minutes of that interview if he has sat on the sideline long enough and will rectify, much like a phoenix in the ashes. Is that right? Much like the phoenix through the ashes. Whatever. If he will be resurrecting Warren County pork choppers in whatever form or fashion. I actually used to wear their T-shirt quite a bit. They had a really cool logo. Had Warren County pork choppers down either side of the long sleeve. Pretty cool. So we'll see if he'd be getting back into it at some point. I'm guessing probably not. If you've sat out this long, I don't know if Competition Barbecue has sexied itself up any more than it has when he decided to get out of it. And that was the thing. Like, he was doing really good, one of the top teams in the competition scene, and then all of a sudden he falls off, never to be heard from again. And why is that? Why does that also happen quite a bit with teams that make those runs, only to never be heard from again? I don't know, but maybe we can ask Donnie that as well. Upcoming shows, because we are freshly into November for the rest of the month. Next week, believe it or not, one of the co-founders of show sponsor Vortic Watches, R.T. Custer, will be joining us once more. We will be hyping up the release of the Veterans Day watches that are going to be coming out, available for sale 3 days after the segment on the 11th, Veterans Day. And if you're looking for a really unique piece of American history to put on your wrist, then this is one you're going to want to check in and check out. So looking forward to chatting with RT next week. Also, interviews with Andrew Barnhart, who's the creator of a product called Flip Grill. If you have a Big Green Egg or a Kamado Joe or pretty much any type of ceramic cooker, and you're sick of using spatulas to flip stuff over, Andrew has created what I akin to a Meadow Creek chicken flipper. If you've seen the Meadow Creek chicken cookers, and you can stick 7,000 pieces of chicken in there on one side, and you have another grill that clamps down. You secure it together, and then when it's ready to flip, you just go down, whoop, flip the wheel over, and whoosh, very easily flip 700 pieces of chicken. Little smaller scale with the Flip Grill, but a similar concept. So we'll talk all about the Flip Grill, how it came to be. He's an Ohio guy down there towards the Hartville, Ohio area, I believe it was. So looking forward to talking with Andrew. Also, coming up in November, believe it or not, the $200 Peppermill Challenge that I'll be doing with Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. I will be championing the Pepper Cannon. Ray will be championing the Black Rain. We'll be putting it through its paces, and we'll decide which one actually reigns supreme in the end. Each one well over $150. The Pepper Cannon actually $199 retail. I believe Black Rain is maybe $150. Maybe it's approaching $200. It's a lot of money between two Peppermills, to say the least. And Dr. Barbecue and I will be putting each one through the paces and giving you our unbiased reviews of such. Then, longtime friend of the show and former sponsor Dan Arnold of Sucklebusters will be coming in November. Jess Pryles coming in for her quarterly segment. We'll see if we can connect with her finally after two failed attempts earlier this year. Sterling Smith from Luton Booty will be on the show once more. Susie Bullock is coming in. Chris Lilly will be stopping by. We'll be getting an origin story from him. Also, Noah Glanville from Pit Barrel Cooker. The embedded correspondents are showing up this month, and many more. So a huge list, a veritable cornucopia of guests and first-time guests and cool products, all filling out the month of November. So be on the lookout for that. Have you ever wondered how you can tell a legit barbecue restaurant from a faker? Well, Rodney Scott is all about telling you 3 red flags a pitmaster looks for when dining at a barbecue restaurant, and who would know better than him because he is a bona fide pitmaster. This coming from Insider.com. Here are the 3 tips Rodney Scott says, if you didn't know. Number 1, if there's no visible pile of wood or pit area, that is your first red flag. Red flag number 2, if you can't see the pits, Scott says to look out for smoke. And red flag number 3, according to Scott, can be the location. If you're still unsure after looking for some more blatant signs of on-site cooking, ask yourself, if I see a spot in the airport saying they're a barbecue joint, that would put a question mark with me, because how much smoke do you see going around an airport? Hopefully not.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Now, I will say, as somebody who frequents Mabel's Barbecue on East 4th Street in Cleveland, there are no visible barbecue smokers. There's no visible smoke rolling around. However, I do know for 100% fact that there are JR Oilers upstairs and downstairs, but due to code, they have to have all the smoke evacuated out, and that was part of the hold up for their build out. So I would say I agree with 2 of the 3 of Rodney Scott's red flags. But sometimes just because you don't see the cooker or you don't see smoke wafting around the dining area doesn't mean that it's not a real barbecue restaurant, all right? So we talked about ceramic cookers for a segment with that flip grill. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they are fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We love that they can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true 2-zone cooking. 2-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a 2-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grill and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute the 2-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's 60 different ways, more than 60 different ways to cook on a Primo. They also have the accessories that you're looking for. They have a pizza grill. They have a they have a rotisserie accessory, a half pan, a full pan for the drips. They also have a rib rack. Everything that you need right now to complete the Primo Grill experience, these accessories are here to do that. Here's the bottom line. Best ceramics in the biz? Yes, sir. Patented technology? You betcha. True 2-zone cooking capabilities in multiple sizes? Yes and yes. If you have to have a round ceramic cooker, do they have them? Yes. But really, think about the oval design. Be a trendsetter. Be a mold breaker. Only sold through dealers. PrimoGrill.com is the place to find those. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. That's PrimoGrill.com. We are back with Sam the Cooking Guy right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And this portion being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Doesn't matter if you're just a beginner or you're a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. No matter what, visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My next guest, a YouTube cooking sensation with over 3.25 million YouTube subscribers at last check, 3.43 million to be exact. He's telling Hoda Kotb and Kathy Lee Gifford to shut the fuck up already. And he's here every Tuesday in the first month. In the second hour, we race and say hello to our pal, Sam the Cookie Guy. Hey, Sam.
Almost every Tuesday. Almost every second Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I mean...
almost every first Tuesday.
I thought,
what is this?
I thought within the last 2 months, one of those was going to be a dropout, but the logistics gods, for whatever reason, were with us, and you have been here the last 2 months. And I'm certainly happy about that. I mean, how about that?
I'm faithful.
Of course.
I like being here. I'll tell you something, my friend.
Go ahead.
There's things I have to do in my work life, and there's things I get to do. And this is one of the things I get to do and I look forward to.
Well, I can tell you from a fan's perspective, I love the fact that you are coming here month after month for the last number of years. I love the fact that you have, without question, stepped up the audio game, which when I was talking to Malcolm Reed earlier last hour, I said, for as much money as I ask for people in my day job, for asking people how much they make in my night job sometimes, the thing that made me most uncomfortable was going back to regular guests and saying, hey, I'm making it a personal mission of mine to have my guests sound as good as me. You're a regular guest. Would you mind doing this? And then stretching that to any guest, hoping that they'll find the value in that and sounding good, and then holding steadfast to that. So if a guest says, I'm just not going to do it, then say, okay, well, we're going to have to hold this interview until you decide to make that sound commitment. That made me the most nervous.
We had this conversation way back, and I've said I will not listen to a podcast that sounds like shit. You start listening to something and you get a Greg Rempe and he sounds fantastic. And then they bring a guest on and the guy sounds like he's calling from fucking Mars. I turn that shit off. I don't want to have to strain to listen. I don't. And you holding your line on people having good audio is important, and I commend you for that. And anybody that won't is a turd.
Yeah, turd.
Care who they are.
Speaking of people who are not turds, you are not a turd. You are fresh off a gallivant around the globe, getting back yesterday. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a Japan / South Korea trip.
No, we didn't go to North Korea. We were Tokyo for 4 days and we were in Seoul for 3 days.
Wow. So where was the better time had and why? And be honest. Because there's no bigger Japan supporter than Sam the Cooking Guy.
No, there isn't. I do what I do because of my love of Japan. It's a long story. I don't have to say it now, but they're so different. They really are. I mean, the people, the food, the way it looks, the whole thing.
But you have to pick which one was better right now.
I gotta pick one. I think probably I'm going to go with Japan only because.
Wow, I'm shocked. I thought it was going to be Korea.
I know it better. I'm getting to know Korea. I mean, this is my second time. My first time was for just a couple. We're dating. We are going back. We're going back to shoot some shows there in February. So this was a little reconnaissance trip.
Yep.
And look, Japan gets all the attention. Everybody wants to go to Tokyo. Everybody wants to go to Japan. We know the food. I don't know. Can you name a Korean restaurant in Cleveland?
No.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to here in San Diego. There's a couple barbecue places I know, but the food is very different. And we just
different how?
I'm only different how? It's like completely different.
So you obviously have a Japanese food profile built in your mind because you're a fan. You've been multiple times. Yeah. You've shot video for the channel there as well, which has been fun to watch. So when you look at Korea, if you say it's so different, but where is it different?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of different everywhere. I didn't. The only thing I knew about Korean food was Korean barbecue. You go to a place, you order a bunch of meat, and the server cook, I'm not sure what they're called, comes and cooks it over either like electric or charcoal at your table. And I've had that here in San Diego, and it's been okay. I've walked out going, it's good. But the level that they took it to, the black-haired pig, do you know what that is? No, I didn't.
I mean,
it's
a pig.
We went to a place that brings, you know what bincho tan is?
Yes, charcoal.
Right. So the Korean version of bincho tan, charcoal, they bring with the serious thing of it's like I can't remember the vice grips. It's like vice grips. They bring this hot container of charcoal glowing, and they put it in the well in front of you, and a grate goes on top of it. We had like a tomahawk bone piece of pork belly. I've never seen it with the bone before. That they bring and they start to sear on both sides, and then the server cuts all the meat off, leaves the bone, and then cuts it into smaller pieces and finishes them off. And it's served with these little tiny servings of samjang, which is like a spicy paste, and salt and a few other things. One little dip in any of these things completely changes the whole dynamic of it. It's
how was it by itself?
Incredible. You almost didn't need anything. So good by itself that by the time you add just a tiny bit of salt, a little bit of wasabi, and I'm telling you, just a little bit, a few grains of this salt on top, it's magnificent. And they make these. Do you know what okonomiyaki is?
No.
There's a Japanese-esque, Japanese pancake-esque type of thing. They make these sort of vegetable pancakes there. Hard to explain. They're called peijon. We had versions of them that were just mind-blowing. Crispy, meat inside, vegetable, fish. I mean, just the food. Went to a market there that absolutely blew my mind. That no video will come from this last trip. But when we're there, I think it will go in February and spend a solid week or so and shoot. It'll be great to see. Right. I feel like Seoul, Korea, South Korea is an undiscovered Japan.
Are you this geeked up on it because it's new, and in reality, like if you can extract yourself out of this, maybe it's really not that great?
So I went with my three sons. And Max, that people know from the channel that shoots and edits, along with Chancey.
Dick.
Dick. Every morning, the other two boys and I, not Max. Max is a sleeper-inner. We'd get up about 7 o'clock and we'd go for a walk, whether it was Tokyo or Seoul. And wait a second. Oh, it's our first morning in Seoul. We come across a 7-Eleven, and if you don't know anything about 7-Elevens in the Asian world, they kick the shit out of bars. Kick the shit.
I don't know if the bar is that high.
Well, they've made the bar high.
Okay.
It should be. But we got a piece of fried chicken from the 7-Eleven in the Myeongdong district of Seoul. And when I tell you, Mr. Rempe, that it was better than a lot of fried chicken from proper fried chicken places I've had in this country, you might not believe me, but it was really good. We all stood at like 7:30 in the morning and took a bite of this and went, holy shit, what is going on here? The 7-Elevens in Japan are notorious for their egg salad sandwich. And I know you think egg salad was a big deal. Look, gross?
Egg salad's gross.
You don't need, oh my God. You have so much.
Do you know how you can make egg salad worse?
Get your hand off the button and just tell me.
Put onions on it.
Oh,
So they make really good egg salad in Tokyo.
it's. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable in Japan.
Because they use
But any
mayo.
Any convenience store. It's probably yes. I don't know which mayo they use. There's a competitor to Kewpie that's similar, that may be cheaper. I don't know. But in fact, there was some. I was at Not Tacos today with 2 executives from Kewpie, 4 executives from Kewpie, 2 of them from Japan and 2 from Los Angeles, where they have an outcropping.
What are they in town for?
Well, they like the fact that I'm a huge fan of Kewpie, that I use it on the channel all the time.
We say proselytizer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I am. But it sounds a little too not Jewish for me to say proselytize. So
Why?
I try not to use that term. Isn't that when you guys get down? I don't know. What does that mean?
That means you talk about it.
You're raising your hands. There's a whole serious religious component to that term for me. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know me. Nobody's more seriously religious than me.
No, that's true. No, but they were here. They like the fact that I use it. We were supposed to go to the Kewpie Museum in Tokyo. And they don't allow non-Japanese speakers there because the tours are conducted in Japanese. But they were going to have a guy there to do it for us in English. But the timing didn't work out, and so we couldn't do it. But so they're fans of the show. They like the fact that I use Kewpie, and they like our salmon taco that is salmon grilled on our flat top. And apart from the other stuff that goes into it, we finish it by putting Kewpie mayo across the top, togarashi, which is this Japanese
big fan
spice, pepper spice, and then we torch it.
Oh,
it's a great effing taco, man.
So
we were talking maybe future business. We'll see.
All in all,
you never know.
Japan and South Korea, magnificent trips.
Great trip.
At least a week in February where you could have content for the show so we can all take part.
Will absolutely have content.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right, so we're looking forward to that.
Look, I'm just going to say this. If you go to the same place every year for a vacation, go someplace different. That's the idea. I'm not saying you have to go as far as Tokyo or Seoul, South Korea, but it's a big world out there. And I'm talking to you, Mr. Rempe.
Oh, God.
Time to get out, discover a little bit of what's going on in the world, and see what's happening.
All right. I'm going to make a trip to Korea, okay?
Short. No, you're not. You are not going to Korea.
I am not going to Korea. You're absolutely right.
Would you go to Tokyo?
No.
Why?
Why do I have to? But I don't want to. That's it. That's all. That's only a reason why I just don't want to go.
That's fine.
I'm sure they're great. You have. I'm thankful that you go, so I can hear all the great stories that you've experienced, and then it's like I went.
I'm curious. Can we take some kind of poll or votes?
Yeah, we can.
We
have instant chat right here.
Your clubhouse. Maybe you're okay. Good. So what should this be? If you haven't been to one of those countries,
yes,
are you interested in going? And would you go?
Oh, yes, I'm interested in going. I won't go.
Yes, no. You're not. No, you're not. Okay. So forget that. Would you go? If you've never been to one of those countries, would you go?
All right. So here's the question to the chat room. If you could go to Japan or Korea, South Korea, are you interested in going? Answer yes or no. And then I'll update here while we transition into a different topic.
Okay, go ahead.
Finish your thought. Go ahead.
No?
Do
you want to go anywhere? You just want to stay in Cleveland forever?
I mean, I was just in Greensburg, Pennsylvania last week. What are you talking about?
Okay, so let's talk out of this.
See the league.
Let's talk out of this country. Where would you go?
I'd go to Australia.
If you could go anywhere, where would you go?
I'd go to Australia.
Australia?
Sure.
Wow. I'd go. The way you say it, it's like if they dragged me, I'd go to Australia.
Yeah, because it involves the whole thing of going to Australia. Like, I don't.
Well, what is the problem with going?
But I don't
that the
want to
problem?
go. Like, I just don't want to go.
Why? I don't get this. You don't have an interest in other parts of the world?
No.
Other cultures, other foods,
No.
other people?
Nope. No.
Interesting. I think you're alone on your own little island.
I think I'm what we call a myopic American. Thank you. Everything exists here. I have everything I need here. I have everything I want here. And if I'm going to travel, first I will travel my country so I can say I've been through it. And then if I'm still alive, I'll travel outside of the country because I'll have traveled my country.
So what? You got to go to 50 states before you head out?
I don't have to go to 50 states, but I mean, I should
okay.
I should see more of the country first.
Wait, quick. What's the last state you would care to go to?
Oh my God.
Quick.
It's probably a toss up between Louisiana or Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah. No offense to Malcolm Reed, by the way. But yeah,
no offense,
okay.
but
I
don't you think that the food there has got to be a lot more interesting than, no offense, Idaho or Iowa or Kansas?
It's just my gut feeling. I think those places aren't that great, so I wouldn't go to Louisiana or Mississippi.
You think Iowa is more interesting than Louisiana?
I do, and Idaho, and Wyoming, and Montana.
Oh my God!
And Oregon.
Somebody should come in that room and slap you right now. Where's your wife? Get her on the phone.
Why do you think Louisiana is better than Idaho or Iowa? You don't know. You've never been to either place.
You don't know where I've been.
Sure. Have you been?
Do you know where I've been?
Have you been?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
no, but I can tell you this: Louisiana with its French component.
Okay, you're just talking about New Orleans.
A damn sight more interesting. No, not just New Orleans. A damn sight more interesting than. Pardon me for saying this, Iowa.
But you don't know that.
Idaho. Look at fucking potatoes. You go have a potato. You can have a potato in Cleveland.
Yeah, good one.
Has anybody responded to our question yet?
So I have 10 yeses so far.
Don't lie. Okay. Out of any no's?
I'm on no no's.
You are on that island.
I have Brian. Yes, would go. Have been to China. Ick.
You said ick?
Yes.
Wait, you said ick or he said ick?
I said ick.
I've been to China.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Deep China, not Hong Kong. Not Hong Kong. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Beijing, and a couple other places. It's crazy. Not my first place to go back, but I feel I've grown because of it.
Well,
you got to get out. We got to get you out.
I'd say you sound like my mom, but my mom just answered in the instant chat, no. So go blame her.
She ruined you.
Can we do this real quick? I want to make a connection. I got my next guest coming up right behind you. His name is Cade Huskinson from Camp Chef. He's a big fan of Sam the Cooking Guy. So I'm gonna punch you
By the
up
way,
here.
I'm a big fan of. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Camp Chef.
So oh wait,
love Camp
Shit,
Chef.
He's in number 4 here. So am I gonna be able to do this? Okay, hold on. I can do this. I can do this.
Go ahead, techie boy.
Hold on.
Make your shit happen.
Yeah, set up.
I'm seeing a bunch of frozen people.
No, I know. Where are you at? Your guest there.
You got Malcolm up there all frozen. You got your Camp Chef guy. Why is everybody frozen except me?
Did I do that right?
No.
Oh, that's the background. Hold on.
There you
go. Darn it.
Shit.
Hold on.
Box, look at you. First time?
Box
First
2. Guest 4. Here we go. Look. So,
what's up?
Sam the Cooking Guy is on the bottom, and there's Cade above. Cade is a big fan of Sam the Cooking Guy. He says they watch Sam the Cooking Guy videos all the time for inspiration, believe it or not.
Thank you. What do you mean, believe it or not? I was going to say a terrible word, but
I'm just trying to be like you're not playing your humble card for you.
You don't worry about me.
Okay.
Kate and I are fine. We're talking. Go ahead. You just cut yourself out and leave us to talk.
Okay. Very good.
I will have to say.
By the way, I love your stuff.
Idaho slander.
Oh, yeah.
Did I say Idaho? I meant Cleveland.
Keep talking, tough
Did
guy.
I say Idaho?
Okay, tell Sam one great thing about Iowa or Idaho.
The mountains are beautiful. Northern Idaho is fantastic.
Talk to me about food, though.
What about food? Tell them about the food.
Talk to me about food.
Well,
and don't mention potatoes.
You have to go with potatoes. I'm going potatoes.
Of course. I mean, potatoes are delicious. Great. They're good all by themselves. They're good as baked, fried, poached.
I love potatoes.
Yes.
I'm just saying, just get out a little bit.
All right. Cade, have you ever been to Japan?
Discover.
I have not been to Japan.
Have you been to Seoul, South Korea?
No.
No?
I have not.
Wait,
Cade,
let me
need to get out more, Cade.
Stop. Can we ask him a question? Do you have any interest in going and traveling far afield?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, absolutely.
Where's your? If you could go furthest place you'd like to go would be where? Or just anywhere you'd like to go out of the country.
I would go. I speak Spanish, so anywhere South America, Mexico, Central America.
Nice.
I would love.
Oh, you never get
off the
Rempy
beaten
there.
Path.
Yeah, don't expect Rempy to go with you. No, he goes to restaurants that make things that are called chori pollo.
Yeah, it's called Gray's. Gray's, owned by Sam, the cooking guy. You can't talk shit about chori pollo. You put it on the menu.
Listen. I'm saying that you go to those places because it's a safety thing for you. It's not real Mexican food, and I admit it's not real Mexican food that I have in my restaurant.
Well. That's up for debate because it appears a Mexican restaurant is making that dish in multiple states across our great land that I don't travel to.
No, Cade has said he would go South America.
Okay, good for
like
Cade.
That thinking. Would you ever go to South America? No. You don't want to go anywhere that's out of the lower 48.
Nowhere that's out of the wire.
Lower 48. Nope. How about Hawaii? Would you go to Hawaii?
100% yes.
Yes.
I might be in logistical planning for that.
What about what about the other one?
Alaska?
I
mean, I don't really have a desire to go there, but I would go there.
Really? It's beautiful.
A lot of bears.
No. It is straight freaking beautiful.
Yes.
Nothing like you have in Cleveland.
Have you been to Alaska, Kate?
I have been to Alaska. It's gorgeous.
All right.
Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous.
Well, I'm not against it. I don't have
against everything that's not attached to this land that you're in right now or Hawaii. Apparently that's the one exception is Hawaii.
It's paradise. That's right. Lance Owens, our best friend, is in Hawaii, and that's a pull for me. So look, Sam, we got to leave it here. We're cutting into Cade's time, and we got to talk about the Woodwind Pro.
Nice chatting.
All right, Sam, we'll see you next month.
I'll see you sometime in Alaska or South America, and we don't have to worry about Rempy because he will not be there.
That's right.
I'll catch up with Rempy in Idaho.
All right, Cade, that's enough of Sam the cooking guy. He's given me kicks to the balls that I can't believe in ways that I wasn't expecting here tonight. So if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on hold real quick. We will come back. We'll talk all about Camp Chef. We'll talk about Woodwind Pro. And we'll do that here in just 1 second. However, I will talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue, a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies, getting you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself, from the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers. Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Known for the championship rubs and seasonings, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, Double Secret Steak Rub, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard, offering 13 perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. They also own Granny's barbecue sauce, so if you're looking for a new go-to sauce because you're sick and tired of what's already out there existing currently, Granny's is the one you want to try great all by itself, or you can use it as a base sauce and trick it out as you see fit. Also selling cookers, right? If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa Smoker, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers or you don't know what type of cooker you need, call them. Ask questions. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We are back with Cade Huskinson right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Sam, the cooking guy, for joining us last segment, this portion being brought to you by Smithfield. The popular Smokin' with Smithfield grant program applications are currently live at smokinwithsmithfield.com. In order to help deepen the prize pool, Smithfield will once again be awarding $3,000 to selected competitions. Applications are open until December 3rd, so just a little bit over a month from now, and then it will close. So get on it now if you are interested in deepening your prize pool. Also, bringing back that Committed Cooks program in 2023 as well, smokinwithsmithfield.com. All right, helping me close the show tonight is the marketing manager for a little company called Camp Chef, one of the leaders in the pellet cooker industry and part of a very large and multi-branded company called Vista Outdoor. Tonight, we talk about one of the items I think will be a thing in 2023, which is the emergence and acceptance of a new kind of hybrid cooker. This one, a little different from the ones we've spoken about in the past few weeks. So we race to the hotline and welcome in the aforementioned Cade Huskinson. Hey, Cade.
Hey, it's good to be here.
All right. Well, I'm glad I was able to make... Maybe I'm not so glad I was able to make that introduction to Sam, the cooking guy, 2020 being hindsight, but glad we could put it together nonetheless.
Tell,
yeah, no doubt. So before we talk about Camp Chef and more specifically the Woodwind Pro, a little background about you professionally and where you call HQ.
Yeah, so a little bit about me professionally. I moved into Camp Chef, came over to Camp Chef 3.5 years ago as their social media manager. I was in that role for 2.5 years. That's how I know people like Sam. Very familiar with creators in the space because of that role. And then moved into marketing manager and have been able to be in more discussions around product development, consumer insights, the kind of the brand we're trying to build. We went through a big rebranding about 1.5 years ago. And so, yeah. It's been awesome. You can't, Camp Chef's unique in the barbecue space because we have the whole camping side, and you really can't go wrong. When you're in this industry, you're either out in the mountains cooking or you're on a back patio barbecuing, and it's been a dream job for me. So I've loved it.
Before we talk about the Woodwind Pro specifically, as you look back 6, 7, 8 years, I remember the first time I was learning about pellet cookers. I mean, Traeger had been around since the early to mid 80s, and then they had owned the patent on the whole augering system and really kept everybody at bay until that thing expired. And then all of a sudden it was a free-for-all for everybody that had been waiting for that thing to expire to get whatever product they were making out onto the market. And it really exploded, then it kind of died. And then maybe a decade ago, it re-exploded and has not lost momentum at all here as we're sitting at the end of 2022, ready to cross over to 2023. As you look at it, are you surprised at the stranglehold that pellet cooker popularity has had on the consuming public?
No. In fact, I still talk to people in my personal life that have like very basic questions about pellet grills, and I'm like, you are the type of person that I would have thought has had one of these for years. I think it's still an emerging technology in the grilling industry, and I think we'll continue to see it growing. I think the magic that pellet grills brought into the grilling world is you could have some of that smoke flavor that you get from barbecue without the headache of managing a fire and Now I know there's kind of a romance and an art form to offset grilling and offset cooking, but it's not as approachable to the general public. So it doesn't surprise me in the least that combining flavor with convenience has struck a chord with the market.
Kate Huskinson joining us here on the show, marketing manager over Camp Chef, the website campchef.com, if you want to check it out as we're talking here. So, Kate, one of the big topics over the past few months on the show has been the reemergence of the combo or hybrid cooker. Prior to this year, most folks thought of it as the gas grill on one side, charcoal grill on the other, same unit, but different cooking ways on either side of it. But now we're seeing the emergence of an offset firebox on one side and a pellet cooker on the other side with an in-common cooking chamber. Camp Chef is bringing something to the market that lives in this realm to a certain degree, and it's called the Woodwind Pro. So if you could tell us a little bit about the line and why this is a revelation for the company.
Yeah. So we built the Woodwind Pro off of the success of the Woodwind. The Woodwind entered the market. We did the Grill God campaign a few years ago. We innovated with the design a little bit with the ash clean out and the slide and grill features. And as the market matured, we started seeing that there's a large segment of the pellet grill market that wanted more flavor and wanted more control over the smoke flavor of their cook. And so that's why we started developing the Woodwind Pro as a way for people to have more ownership of the flavor, to have more control, to get the flavor that they really want off their pellet grill. And you mentioned that there are combo grills out there that have an offset chamber on one side, or same chamber but offset box on one side, pellet hopper on the other. The Woodwind Pro really takes what some would view as the headache that comes along with offset smoking, and the dissatisfaction of smoke flavor with pellet grilling, and combines the two while at the same time getting rid of the negatives. So it gives you all the benefits of the smoke flavor with the convenience of a pellet grill. And I think it's going to be, I know the Woodwind Pro, there's nothing like it on the market. So for those of you that don't know what the Woodwind Pro is, what we've built is a smoke box that sits above the chamber, the fire pot chamber where the pellets burn. And it has a butterfly valve in between the burn pot and this smoke box. So you can load up the smoke box with hardwood chunks, charcoal, chips, any other fuel you want to burn, and use the pellets below to ignite it. And then once it's burning on its own, you can close the butterfly valve, essentially choke that off from oxygen, or from that direct flame, and allow it to just sit and smolder. And so the flavor that we've gotten off of the Woodwind Pro in the office, as well as the initial reviews that have come in over the last month since we launched it, have been very positive. We did a taste test when we were developing this, where we did ribeyes on a pellet grill and ribeyes on the Woodwind Pro. And whether they liked the smoke flavor or not, 100% of the people could correctly identify which grill was cooked on, or which steak was cooked on which grill, just based off the taste alone. So we knew we were onto something at that point.
Kate Huskinson from Camp Chef joining us here on the show, marketing manager, campchef.com, the website. We're kind of showing some video as we're talking here. So if you're listening audio podcast-wise, you're going to want to go back and get the video or just hit the website up. You can see Kate on one of the promotional videos going over the Woodwind Pro as well. So this is mostly customer-driven feedback that you're getting, or are you also from a board side saying, hey, we're just trying to figure out something new or a way to stand out from the conventional pellet cookers that are hitting the market, and it's just a collision of or a marriage where you're thinking one thing, consumers are saying another, and you're able to meet this need or give this solution?
This was 100% consumer driven. In fact, we had a prototype of the Woodwind Pro, and there still was some hesitancy to introduce an extra step into pellet grilling, because the promise of of cooking on a pellet grill is the convenience. And so internally, there were discussions of whether the market would want this, because you have to add some extra fuel. There's an extra step that kind of goes against the convenience factor of a pellet grill. And it wasn't until our marketing team, we went through all of the forums, all the barbecue forums we could find, anywhere that anyone was talking about pellet grills. And we just started searching for terms like more smoke, smoke tube, smoke flavor, and just started screenshotting everything we could find. And we were surprised. I have on my computer a document with hundreds of screenshots of people saying, I like my pellet grill. I wish it had a little bit more smoke flavor. I'm doing a brisket this weekend. How do I get just a little bit more smoke flavor? And that's really what the Woodwind Pro gives people. And the beauty of the Woodwind Pro, on top of the flavor, is it really does give you it puts you in control of your cook, because you can run it on pellets alone if you want. So if you don't have the time to load up the smoke box and do all that, you can run it like you do any other pellet grill, and you'll get fantastic food off of it. But if you're, spending $50 to $100 on a brisket, and you want to make sure it turns out exactly as you want, you have the flexibility and the option to add more fuel in there. So
can I have a question from the instant chat here in YouTube that says, you've added a smoker box because the cooker doesn't give you enough smoke. Can't you get the same results with a smoke tube? So let's explain a little bit why that's different, and why what you're bringing to market is different than just adding an amazing tube or something along these lines.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And that's actually, we've seen a lot of feedback on that as we launched the Woodwind Pro. We knew that we would see some. But the real difference is, with a smoke tube, your pellets are burning at a very low temperature. They're smoldering. Where with the smoke box, it's sitting right above the burn pot. And so it's very hot around there, but the fuel inside of it isn't burning. It's smoking, but you get that secondary burn because of the heat, because of the placement of the smoke box above the burn pot. And we've done taste tests with a smoke tube and the Woodwind Pro, and you can tell a difference. One of them, you still get more smoke flavor with the smoke tube, but in a way you're adding more of the same. You're adding more of just pellets. And I don't know enough about the science of wood and the lignins and all that's within wood, or the chemical makeup, but there seems to be some magic where a chunk of wood burns a little bit. It gives off a little bit different flavor than a pellet. And that's not to say one is better or one is worse. Barbecue is all, if it tastes good, you're doing it right. That's my opinion. But the smoke box, I don't know if it's serendipity or if it was intentional by our engineers, but there seems to be some sort of magic happening where it's putting off the perfect amount of dirty smoke and clean smoke. And I've heard some people say that this isn't quite like an offset, but it's not quite like pellets. Like, it's in its own category. So it's interesting. We're still kind of figuring out what we've landed on, but I can tell you that the flavor is not like you would get off of just a pellet tube.
So in the box, if you're putting wood chunks or wood chips, I'm not a huge fan of wood chips myself, and then in the video it looks like there's actually charcoal briquettes as well. Are they igniting? Are you getting, so in an offset, you want to have a live fire rolling in that offset because you want the clean smoke. You don't want to see all the white, billowy, dirty smoke or the gray smoke that is not going to lend that nice smoke profile to the meat, whatever you're cooking. So are you gaining a full ignition at this point, or is it just enough to heat it and smoke it, but you're not getting to a flame or a full ignition?
No, you can get to a full flame. I've had some where I'm cooking on my Woodwind Pro where I've opened up the box to add more fuel, and there's a flame going inside the smoke box because I was cooking at a higher temperature, so the box was hotter the pellets below were burning hotter. But oftentimes it'll just sit there and smolder. It'll just be that it'll be a good smoke. I hope I'm explaining that well.
And it doesn't jack with the algorithm that the actual pellet cooker is trying to do to maintain 275 or 300 degrees or anything like that?
No. So the Woodwind Pro has a PID controller in it, and anyone that's listening that knows what PID is will know why that's beneficial. But essentially, the mind of the grill, the brain of the grill, is taking in that added external information, saying there's added heat in here, so I'm going to slow down on pellets, and you can still keep temps exactly where you want them with the Woodwind Pro, even with added fuel in there. So it's awesome.
From concept,
it really is an amazing grill.
From concept to getting it released into the market, what kind of a time frame are we looking at?
We were cooking on prototypes of this before COVID hit, so we've had this
little time,
yeah,
little ways.
That's when we were tinkering with it and trying to figure out what this grill would be, and it feels so good to have it in the market. I can't tell you, because I was personally extremely excited about this grill just because of all the comments that I had seen on social media. As the social media manager, I knew that this would land with some segment of the market. How big that segment of the market is still unknown, and time will tell. But yeah, it's definitely filling a void, kind of a disconnect between the offset world and the pellet grill world.
From a retail standpoint, do you guys sell online only? Are you through dealers, big retailers? What's that look like?
Yeah, we've got placement with the Woodwind Pro in a couple big dealers. Primarily right now, it's primarily through our website, but or drop ship through their websites. But we've got more and more. I think retailers, especially, we're a little hesitant to take a chance on it. In reality, I think it's a new product. It's kind of forging its own way in this industry. And so I know that as a buyer, I would have been a little bit like, okay, let's see how this sells first. But we've been really happy with the response that we've gotten, both from the consumer market and from our retail partners.
How does the company benchmark success on a product like this? Do you have metrics that you put in place or forecast something to say, well, if we hit these internally, we'll bill it as a success? Whether it's making us billions and billions of dollars is another thing altogether. But are those things you put together, or is it just let's put it out there and hopefully we hear more good things than bad things, and then we'll realize if it's a success or not?
No, there's absolutely a lot of math and calculating and forecasting that goes into things like this. I might not be the best person to talk about that. Our finance team would have way more insights into that type of stuff, but they're definitely saying, hey, we want to break even on this by this date, or we want to, make this much in revenue by this date. And that's typical business practice. The Woodwind Pro, we were definitely taking a little bit of a chance. It wasn't proven yet. We weren't sure if we were going to launch it and people were going to go, oh, that's added work, I don't want that. Or, at that point, why didn't I just get an offset? And luckily, the market's received it really well.
When you look into 2023, Cade, and it doesn't have to be Camp Chef related, what's your feelings about trends that maybe we're not seeing right now that'll emerge next year? Your thoughts?
Let's see. As far as an industry goes, it feels like I have two things to say about this, and they're kind of related. It feels like what's the word I'm looking for? The desire to have like true blue barbecue, and it has to be done this way or no way at all. I feel like that's kind of going away. I think as more and more people are barbecuing at home, and initially I think a lot of people were going to the experts and saying this is how it needs to be done and it needs to be done in this way. And there are some core principles that you have to know with barbecue, like cooking to temp, cooking to feeling, testing it with the probe, doing all that, letting it rest. Those things are constants. You've got to do that if you want a certain result. But when it comes to flavor, it seems like there's more of an appetite to break out of the typical barbecue flavors and explore other things. Sam, the cooking guy, is a perfect example of that, who's willing to explore, Asian flavors on barbecue and different seasonings and things like that, where, I think a couple of years ago, it was a little bit more, you have to be faithful to true blue barbecue. Along with that, I think there seems to be a departure from, what's true barbecuing. And, you had Charbroil on earlier today with their electric grill. And I think the stigma that it has to be done in a certain way is going to kind of fall to the wayside. And if you can get really good food off of an electric grill, it doesn't make it any less grilling or any less barbecue than something that was cooked on something else. The end result is really the what matters. And I think we'll see that trend more and more in 2023 and moving forward.
Do you buy into the full-size electric grill? You think that's going to be a thing?
You know what? I don't know if it'll take over the other, pellet grilling. I think one thing that you need to remember is there's an art form with this. I think people like the smell of the smoke. I think people like when it's offset, it's more than just the flavor. There's a romanticism about it. Totally. There's an art form. With an electric grill, you get heat and you can get the same result, but I don't know if you're getting all of those other psychological triggers that are really making you proud of what you've done. So I think there is a market for it. Definitely people that are in apartment complexes or where they can't have live fire or even pellet grills. That is a fantastic option, but there's a lot. As a marketer, I always think about the psychological impact of certain behaviors or rituals that people have with the product. And there's certain grills in the market that I don't think have as tight or as ritualistic behaviors behind them as offset cooking or pellet grilling or low and slow barbecuing. But there's definitely a market for it.
Last question before I let you go tonight, and I didn't think I was going to ask it.
All right.
In 2023, Camp Chef is going to be bringing a full-size electric grill to market.
Is this a true or false question?
Yeah.
If we do, it'll be a surprise to me.
We'll say no then. I imagine you would be hearing footsteps on that if that was going to be the case. So we'll take it as a no for now, but maybe later on in 2023, we're going to be talking with Cade, revealing a full-size electric Camp Chef grill, but not at this point. So if people are interested, Cade, they want to go to campchef.com, best place to go, and there's a couple different size options there for the Woodwind Pro.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you want to learn more about the Woodwind Pro, you can, learn about it on our website, or our YouTube channel has some great YouTube videos. We've also sent grills out to people to test it out, and we don't pay anyone, and we also don't ask for any sort of review. We just say we want your honesty. So anything you're seeing out there, we've told those people, be brutally honest. We don't want people to sniff out any sort of inauthenticity. Be true to your audience, and so you can learn more about the Woodwind Pro from those creators as well.
Cade Huskinson is the marketing director over at Camp Chef. Campchef.com is the website. Cade, really appreciate the insight on the Woodwind Pro tonight, a little background on you as well, and hopefully we can do it again soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
That's Cade Huskinson right there from Camp Chef, and appreciate him hanging out here a little longer than I had anticipated, but the information is good. So 2 new guests, 2 great informational segments, one on a full-size electric grill, this one on a hybrid-esque pellet cooker that has a smoke drawer sitting over the firebox to allow you to put in wood chunks or wood chips or charcoal briquettes or whatever you like to give you a little bit of that smoke flavor or added smoke flavor that you're missing in your traditional pellet cookers. Camp Chef thinks they have the solution to what has been a constant refrain for a decade or longer. Just not enough smoked flavor from that pellet cook. So we'll see how it goes. Before we wrap it up here this evening, I'll talk to you quickly about Vortic watches. Next week, we have R.T. Custer, one of the co-founders, back in. You know, back in the day, watches were made to be worn in the pocket. But after World War II, wristwatches came into vogue, and pocket watches quickly became an afterthought, finding their way into sock drawers or scrap heaps. Quite simply a tragedy. Enter Vortic Watch Company, helping bridge the gap between America's storied watch manufacturing past and bringing it to the present day, where wristwatches are finding incredible popularity. And here's the coolest part. Each watch that Vortic makes is unique and one of a kind. Vortic, founded on the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check out vorticwatches.com for more info. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rempe.
And we thank Cade Huskinson for joining us last segment from Camp Chef, campchef.com, his website. And we talked about the Woodwind Pro, their new offering to add more smoke flavor to their existing pellet cooker, again, built off the back of the Woodwind model. And now it's the Woodwind Pro. That's the latest and the greatest, giving you more smoke flavor options for the Camp Chef pellet cookers. All the way back in the first hour, Malcolm Reed led it off, howtobbqright.com, his website. And then we talked with Seth Sawyer from Charbroil, charbroil.com, and the full-size electric grill called the Edge. You know, I meant to talk about the $800 price tag that somebody mentioned in the chat room, and I didn't get to that top of the second hour, so I'm going to try to remember to address that top of the show next Tuesday, but forgive me if I don't. Second hour, we let off with Sam the Cooking Guy, talking about his recent trip to Japan and Seoul, South Korea, which was better, what the food was like. We're going to be going back in February to shoot content so we can all take part in that. And then somehow we got stuck on why I don't like to travel. What, am I not allowed to not want to go out of the country? That's wrong. Evidently, I'm not as evolved, but that's fine. I knew I wasn't evolved. I'm so evolved, I knew I wasn't evolved in that portion of where I'm living. I like Cleveland a lot. I wish it was warmer, but I like Cleveland. What's wrong with Cleveland? You think Cleveland's so great? What's good in Cleveland? Anyway, closing out the show, Cade Huskinson from Camp Chef, campchef.com. Again, talking about that Woodwind Pro that has the smoker drawer where you can drop wood chunks, wood chips, lump charcoal, probably lump charcoal briquettes. I just said that. Again, campchef.com. Big show planned for you next week. Meathead, Robert Moss, R.T. Custer, and there's somebody else that I can't think of right off the top of my head, but the show is booked, believe that. So, how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
This is Chris Payne from Euclid, Ohio, and you are listening to Barbecue Central.